Hey, Max Guys here. Welcome to my channel, Max Guys Music. In today's great episode of Riff of the Week, we're going to be learning Wanted, Dead or Alive, recorded by Bon Jovi. This comes from their record Slippery When Wet, 1986. Richie Sambora originally plays this riff on a 12-string guitar. I think he uses pick for the whole thing. I'm going to teach it to you with fingers. This is one you can do pick fingers or pick and fingers. Once again, not that we have to rate all these, but on a scale of 1 to 10, this one's a little bit harder. I'd probably put it at a solid 5 because we have 2 parts. The funny thing about this riff, the first part is easier than it looks, and the second part's a bit harder than it looks. You can maybe evaluate that on your own at the end of the lesson. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you how to play this great riff by Bon Jovi. So the riff to Dead or Alive has 2 halves. The first half has 2 features that are really important to understand to make it easier to play. The first part is how we're going to tackle the right hand. The right hand has a repetitious pattern: thumb on the 4th string, index on the 3rd string, ring finger on the 1st string, and then you're going to go back to the index on the 3rd string. Thumb, index, ring, index, thumb, index, ring, index. As before, when you're doing that fingerstyle technique, bring your fingers into your hand. Don't let them pop away from the guitar. One nice element of this particular riff is your fingers stay on those strings for the first half of this riff. So that makes it pretty easy that once you get your fingers there, they stay there. All right, the next bit is this bit that it looks a bit more intimidating because it just starts very high on the guitar neck. But what you're doing here is you're taking a shape or an interval of 2 notes that goes down a D minor scale, basically from the high part of the guitar or the top of the guitar to the bottom. So you're going to start up here. This 13th fret F is the same note on the 1st fret F that you end on. And so the interval that you're playing is a 6th interval. That refers to how many steps away on a scale it would be. So first note of your interval is a A there, and if you go up 6 notes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you get an F, and that's what you have up here. So I can get a little bit more into the theory about that in just a moment. So you're going to take this 6 shape and move it down. The important thing to keep in track here is when you have moving 6 shapes, which by the way happen in all sorts of music, on guitar, I recommend keeping a guide finger. So in this case, the middle finger is going to stay on the 3rd string, and it will either be this shape that you see here, where you'll place your index finger, I guess you could say 1 fret down from your middle finger, or if you look at the 2nd chord shape, you'll be putting your ring finger, I would refer to this as underneath your middle finger. As you go down, that will shift, but what does not change is that the middle finger stays as a guide finger. So you have only those 2 shapes. I'd recommend practicing it at the same time, just to kind of get used to how that left hand will change, and leave out the slide until you get used to the shape. By the way, when you're playing the interval at the same time, that's a harmonic representation of the interval, and of course as it's written is an intervallic or kind of a melodic representation of this interval where you play it 1 at a time. And so when you put those 2 parts together, it of course sounds like this. And then you get here, you have this slide on this 2nd bar. Do that with the middle finger, hold it down, play the ring finger. You'll see the notation lit ring throughout, meaning you want to hold those chord shapes. It sounds like the chord is ringing like a bell. You repeat that, the only difference is you anticipate that open D string on the last 16th note of the 2nd bar before you go back. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and otherwise you hold it exactly the same. I'll be honest, if you missed it and you didn't anticipate it, probably no one would notice. But that's how that goes. The second half of the riff features sort of a call and response, and so we have the call of the single notes we're playing on the 5th and 4th strings, the bluesy lick, which you're going to play all right hand thumb. You'll immediately focus on the quarter step bends on that third fret. Will probably catch your eye. Remember, a quarter step bend, you're just barely pulling the string downward, just sort of smudging it a little bit. I think of quarter step bends as bluesy, so don't bend it too much, just a little smudge. So all of that with your middle finger here, all of it thumb here, and then on your right hand, you'll be holding out a D sus2 chord. So your ring finger, 3rd fret, 2nd string, index finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. With your right hand, you'll hit that open E with your ring finger, 2nd string, double middle, 3rd string index, and then the double thumb with the 5th string. And so if I play that slow, same thing as the first half of the riff, you're going to repeat that a couple of times. In fact, you repeat it 3 times before you get to the ending. You noticed I was holding down the D sus2 shape while I executed the kind of melody part of the riff. If you're able to do that, great. If your hand feels super tight and you can't do that, or you like to wrap your thumb on the top, you'll just have to do them one at a time. Like this. Doesn't sound bad. There's just more of a chance you could miss a string. Now, either case, you get to this next to last bar, you'll have the double open at the end, middle finger first, with the thumb, put the ring finger underneath, play those together, thumb and ring finger on your right hand, and then hold, and then your last chord here, D5. So that last 2 bars would sound like this. That leads you to the verse of the song. Of course, you probably have heard the song a million times. That intro riff is going to come back in the form of an interlude riff, and of course, it's going to close out with that. I guess even though I'm talking about the intro, when you end it, it ends on a D major, so that's good to know. Well, that's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. If you enjoyed my channel, Max Gise Music, and you want to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button down there. Also, if you want a free copy, PDF, of today's riff, you can email me at the email in the description box below. My name is Max Gise. It's been a pleasure to teach you today. I hope you had fun learning some guitar with me. I'll see you next time. Until then, practice hard.